and welcome to another episode of Woke by Accident Podcast. It is a weekly chat about socially conscious topics impacting the culture. On this episode, we are joined by Sambaza, host and creator of the Sambaza Podcast. Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Woke by Accident Podcast, a weekly chat about socially conscious topics impacting the culture. Welcome, and we are happy to have our co-host, Sambaza, host and creator of the Sambaza Podcast from the Republic of Kenya. He has established himself as a distinguished voice in the podcasting community. His work has been recognized with nominations by the APVA, along with a nomination from the Texas Creator Awards. He has been a featured presenter at the Afros Audio Podcast Festival and recently contributed to the 2025 Podfest. Hey, Sambaza.
Hey, what's up, Jen? How you doing this week?
Pretty good. Welcome.
All right, thank you. And everything okay for the weekend? I mean, mine has been okay so far, so good. Can't wait for today's show, actually.
Just getting into the work week. It's going pretty good.
Oh, okay. What you got for today?
So we are excited to bring you guys another show, and shout out to the other platforms that you have made arrangements for us to be broadcasting on. We do have a special guest today, so we're really excited about that. And before we introduce our topic and guest, do you want to share an affirmation to kind of set the tone?
All right. Affirmation of the week. It says, my mind is clear and focused. Simple. My mind is clear and focused.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. We received that. I would definitely like to continue sharing affirmations to promote positive mental health behaviors. So we definitely received that message on today. How about an African proverb?
Guess we have to wait for the African proverb so that we get our guest over. So we're gonna have to hold on that one.
Okay, we'll wait for that one. Look, I'm so excited. I'm like, let's do it. All right. So
I think we haven't had a guest in a while, so that's why we kind of.
No, that's not why. Don't say that. All right, so we will get ready to introduce our guests on today's episode. We have a true visionary in the podcasting world. He is the founder of Afros Audio Podcast Festival. From its start, it has been a groundbreaking space dedicated to amplifying Black voices in podcasting, fostering community, and creating opportunities for collaboration and growth. Now heading into its 7th annual event on October 16th, this guest will share the inspiration behind the festival, the impact it has made over the years, and what we can expect from this year's gathering. So whether you're a podcaster, content creator, or simply someone who enjoys the power of storytelling, this conversation is one you don't want to miss. With that, we bring you Talib Jasir. Welcome.
Off mute. How y'all doing?
Hey, welcome, sir.
How y'all doing? It's good to be here.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
Nice to have you here. And here goes the proverb. We usually ask a proverb, and this one, actually, the proverb was kind of something I picked up from my sister's Facebook page. She had written something, and I was like, wow, this will be great. I don't know where it's from, but it's just an African proverb. Mm-hmm. And it goes, a chameleon that wants to escape a burning bush must first abandon the walking style of his ancestors. I'll repeat that again. A chameleon that wants to escape a burning bush must first abandon the walking style of his ancestors. So, Talib, we'll throw it over to you. What can you decipher from this proverb?
I don't know. It sounds to me as if it's saying that you have to, a person would have to kind of let go of some of the traditions, values, things that worked during their ancestors' time in order to become their own person. Blaze their own path, all those things. They have to shed, certain things from the past in order to do so.
Okay. I'll go with that. Jen, how about you?
Yeah, I definitely feel like although you carry your ancestors with you, you definitely have to set your own trail. But that's probably not right.
No. Actually, that's a very nice way of looking at it. Yeah, Talib, appreciate that as well. There's no right or wrong. To me, it was same scenario whereby we're always attached to things that make us who we are. But then when we get to a situation where you have to accomplish a particular task, then you have to shed off whatever you have that you believe in at some point. Not really not believe in, but what you have learned, and try to acquire new skills in order to be able to achieve this next level that you want to go to, or in another space that you want to get into. So that's how I decipher the proverb for the day. And with that, we shall start our conversation today. Now, Talib, a little bit about yourself, and then what inspired you to create the Afros Audio Festival.
A little bit about myself, in which aspect, regarding today or yesterday?
Born and raised, a little bit on that, and then away from, and then now we get into the Afros Audio. Yeah.
All right, sure. So, some of you know, many of you know, I was born in Baltimore, Maryland, which is where the conference is held for the third year this year. I was raised on a farm on the Eastern Shore of Maryland, and it's where I currently live, on the Eastern Shore of Maryland, which means you're going as far as you can in Maryland until you reach the water, and you can't go any further. So I'm surrounded by the beaches, and in fact, last night my wife and I went to the beach and brought in the full moon with a bonfire, and it's that type of lifestyle, and it's for mental and emotional health purposes. We're here, and so just me, I'm visionary. I see things a little bit differently than some folks, and similar to a lot of people as well. I want to see people win. I want to be a light for folks who may experience some of the things that I've experienced in my life as a creative, as an entrepreneur, as a founder, even as a person, just a human, having a human experience. That's my goal, as I walk this path, no matter if I'm doing my life coaching, I'm writing books, doing podcasts, I'm facilitating Afros Audio Podcast Festival. It's really about, just wanting folks to win in whatever way that looks like for them.
Okay, so that was your inspiration for the starting of the Afros Audio?
I mean, my inspiration for Afros Audio, I had created, written, directed, and produced a audio fiction podcast called The Fussings Until One of Us Is Dead in 2017. Mine was one of the first Black podcasts, Black audio fiction podcasts that was out at the time. The other two was Issa Rae's Fruit and Lorenz Tate's Bronzeville, which some of you all have heard of. And then there was mine, the first independent Black podcast in the space, audio fiction podcast in the space. And I wanted to see more creators that look like me doing the work. And so initially Afros Audio was started very niched for audio drama, and for Black audio drama creators. And because the market wasn't what it was in 2017 and the way that it is now, we have a lot of audio drama. Shout out to Black Audio Dramas Exist. That was pretty much where I was wanting to go in 2017, but the market wasn't there. And so 2018, I pivoted to this event, and it's been this way ever since.
Okay.
Nice. So you mentioned that you saw a need in wanting to see other creators like yourself, especially in that audio fiction podcast category, but it's obviously expanded since that. What do you feel like has kept you motivated in continuing the festival with the change and evolving of the theme?
It's the creatives. I mean, everyone who walks through the doors, we inspire each other. I really think that we learn how to be, we learn how to do things, we learn how to create and go further together, and also watching each other, being each other's possibility. And so Afros Audio was intended for that. What you see is what you get. It wasn't intended for what you see other conferences do. It was intended for networking. It was intended for friendships to develop, opportunities to develop, partnerships to develop, collaboration to happen. And so that's what we've done year after year. Most people in the space who have come through Afros Audio have met their people through the conference. And since then, I've gone on to bigger and better things, which is what you want to see. And so, that's the work.
Absolutely. And for those who may be tuning in and tapping in on the various platforms, this conference is coming up soon. I don't know if you caught that date. It's coming up on October the 16th. So it's a very exciting and busy time for Talib. So we definitely appreciate you joining us today.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
Yeah, and people have just tuned in. We have guys on Clubhouse on Clubhouse actually joining in, and also on TikTok Live. Thank you so much, guys, for joining in, and also YouTube as we stream there live as well. We also have people who've joined in and said hello, family. That's from Denise, and we got Ed Campbell saying peace and light, family. And Denise said that's community. When we were talking about how community is evolving and what you try to find a niche in the Afros Audio as you were starting off, I think that brought about community. And I think that's what we kept on stressing a lot about it. So, yep, that's Denise's comment. Welcome, guys, and keep posting and chatting. All right. Let's see. What have been some of the biggest challenges in organizing and sustaining Afros Audio Festival? Because I know, Talib, this is not an easy feat. I've seen you in there running up and down, and sometimes you look like you're exhausted. By the last day, you like, okay, yeah, we're happy, but it's successful, but yeah, you can see you're really, really tired. So what have been some of the biggest challenges that you can highlight for us? Maybe a couple here and there.
Biggest challenges have been just the progression of this conference. We started out on Bedford Avenue in Brooklyn, New York, in a one-room space in 2019, and we've had to go right into COVID the 2 years after that. So we really, it's almost like, it was started in June in Brooklyn. I thought it was always going to be a June date, and then COVID happened, and it was this determination to say, okay, when I started this thing, I set out to be a mainstay and be here, not go away, not show up one year and leave the next. And so being committed to that, we went into virtual for COVID for 2 years, and then was able to come back outside finally and started back in Philly. But the work has really been just making it happen year after year. There's issues in most areas of this conference. There's not a space where I can say that it doesn't have challenges. I have a great team, which is awesome. But for any of those you out there who have your own endeavors, babies, human babies, fur babies, they're your babies, and so other people might watch them for you every once in a while, but they're gonna give them back to you and they say this is all you. And so this has just been an opportunity for me to really understand myself a lot better. Learn what I'm built of, learn what I can be resilient in, and for everything that you do, even though this is a conference that includes many, many people, many brands, different places and locations, it's still a personal journey, and I think people forget that when they see you in a certain position, that they assume your life, and life is not easy when you're the founder of something that started the first ever conference forum by Black podcast creators and audio professionals. People don't always see it for what it is, but I'm proud of it, and that's at the end of the day. I hope that we've created something that other people are proud of, and that they've done some great work because of it. At the end of the day, I'm proud of it.
As you should be, for sure. And it's really a beautiful conference. I've had my opportunity to attend for the first time last year, and I'm attending this year, so really looking forward to that. There's so many people in different stages of their podcast journey there, from people who they think they may want to start a podcast, to the people who've been doing this for a while, to people who have won multiple awards. Just everyone is coming together in this event. So in light of that, how has your perspective on podcasting and the evolution of AI and the way that people have incorporated into their content, so how's your perspective on podcasting and its role in the culture changed since the beginning with everything that has went on?
Well, I'll start with the positive, and I know that podcasting, being as accessible as it is to people in general, really makes it a super important medium for folks who are marginalized, dealing with challenges in society, whether it's, us growing up and learning how to be, from us gaining our own confidence, gaining our own voice, understanding who we are, but also sharing and telling our stories. To me, this is one of the most important mediums that there is, when we are laying a living record of our stories, of our experiences, our perspectives, our thoughts, our beliefs. We could package this up right now, by accident, take it to television or radio, and, you might get right in, you might have some challenges. No one told you couldn't do this. No one tells you what you can and can't do on it. That's important. We don't have a lot of those liberties anymore in society. And so for me, if we can just continue to tell our stories, share our thoughts, and lay this record down, that makes this one of the most important records that we can do. This is our time capsule. We're what's happening right now. We're talking about it. There's nothing that can be compared to that, in my opinion.
Yeah. Definitely. Awesome. Now, I'm sure there are going to be some memorable highlights and successes that have made you proud so far, being that you've created this great community. Now, I am going to first put myself on the spot for the highlights, memorable highlights. The fact that I was there, I talked last year, but there's one thing that you gave me work to do as an ambassador, and this is a shameless plug. So as an ambassador, I'm going to be proud to say, at the Podfest 2025, I talked to guys, and right now you have, I think, 2 speakers that I can think of. Jesse, and there's another group. There's a husband and a wife from Houston. They're going to be talking in this particular...
GQ&T?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, so those are the people I met at Podfest, and I told them, look, there's Afros and Audio here. You guys have to come and hang out. Jesse was like, look, I have not heard of Afros and Audio, but here we are. And I was
wow.
You gotta show up. That's what it's about. And with that, I think that was one of my memorable highlight, is to see that they have actually integrated themselves into being speakers and showing out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Awesome.
Welcome. That's a work of an ambassador, if I may say so myself. How about you? What are your memorable highlights and successes that you can look back and be proud of from the time that you started off until now?
I think about often the first year, and I remember there was a couch that we had in the room, and sitting there and looking at this stage and seeing folks talking on it and recognizing that I did that was a very proud moment. And it has been that way ever since. Every time I'm there at the conference, all of what leads up to it, all of what happens afterwards, it's those 2 to 3 days, sometimes 4, like we're doing this year, that make me the proudest. I couldn't be more proud of the conference than when I see folks come together, when I see the networking and the love that's shown to one another and the support and the sharing of knowledge and experiences. In my opinion and the opinion of a lot of other people, there's nothing else like it. And it was intended that way. And I'm very proud of that. I just, that's it, you know?
Absolutely.
Awesome. And I think Ed had a question, which was, what is your biggest challenge being in the industry?
I think there's a challenge in all industries, and mostly for podcasting specifically, it's still evolving. And for me, what I've wanted to do, what I've tried to do is have those conversations where we recognize as the content creators in the space that if there's an industry that's still being shaped, that's unlike television, radio, you know, all these other media industries is already done for, you know, already set, established, then we really need to make sure that this benefits the creator. And one of my challenges with this industry is that it is looking very status quo. It's looking the same as any other industry where there are people at the top who get the lion's share of everything and the content creators don't benefit. Mm-hmm. And podcasting industry can't exist without podcasters. Independent podcasters make up a lot of the percentage of podcasting, which really makes us the most powerful people in the room. But if we don't know that, you know, and we don't ever get that, then this industry will look like every other industry. And I'm one person. I can only do so much. I can only say so much. I can only lead so much. The challenge in this industry is that we are doing the same thing that we've done with every other industry. And that's difficult to watch because it doesn't have to be that way. In the last 2 years, we've seen actors and writers and, you know, all these other folks basically rebelling against their industry because they're not benefiting them. They're not getting equal pay. They're not seeing equity, you know, all of these things. And at some point, I'm not going to be sure why independent podcaster would continue in the space if it doesn't benefit them. At some point, as it continues to evolve, and eventually, what is the point?
Okay, sure. And Denise from Heal, Empower, and Release podcast, she says, "Oh my God, this is so true." And seeing the oversaturation of unhealthy, in quotes, podcasters and rage baiters, it does become discouraging. Yeah, the support.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
And can I acknowledge? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You know, I think that there is, and this might be a controversial topic, but I think we police each other a lot as people. And one of the things that I truly believe, and it's with music and any other thing, if there is a existence that someone is experiencing, then it gets to be represented, whether I can relate to it or not. Sure. There's cultures, there's mindsets, there's all these things that people will gravitate to because that is what they gravitate to. Mm-hmm. So guess what I don't have to do is listen to or pay attention to anything that I don't gravitate to. Right. And so we have an opportunity to do more of amplifying what we do enjoy. And so we've got to also take ourselves to task with how we're supporting, how we're showing up, how we're reviewing and commenting, and, making sure that we're elevating each other so that our content moves a little further than the clickbait and the rage bait. It's all an algorithm, and we have just as much power to move it and push it as anyone else. And again, it's going to be up to us.
That's true. And shout out to Mr. LP, who will be a presenter at this year's Afros Audio, who joined the chat to the top. Hey, what's up? And my alpha brother, okay? All right. So, and
I have a question with regard to the niche that we are as Black podcasters, and having done this for the last 7 years, do you feel that we have made gains as Black podcasters when you look at the bigger scope of work done out there in terms of either the high profile podcasters like the Club Shay Shay, and then us who are the independent podcasters? Then there's some who are, like you said, you came in as an audio drama podcast, audio dramas. How are we filling up the space that is out there? Have we made gains from the time you had started the Afros Audio Festival, or from when you started podcasting?
Absolutely. I mean, and I'm not, sometimes I feel like 2017 is like veteran, but it's not. There's people doing it even before then. And I say, yes, we have made gains. When I first started in 2017, as I mentioned, I was one of 3 podcasts, audio fiction podcasts, created by someone who looked like us. And now there's a whole directory, Black Audio Dramas exists, with tens and almost hundreds of audio dramas created by us. So that speaks. One of the goals for the conference was that we increase the voices in podcasting. But not only that, we have to increase our listenership, because listenership is data. And what I found is that there's still this unwillingness to be with the work that we create. This is where the confidence comes in. This is where finding our voice comes in, where I have a podcast. Listen to my podcast. Go and put it, give people postcards like, listen to my podcast. I have a podcast. Push it further and further, because our listeners are just as important as our podcast. I mentioned the podcast industry can't exist without podcasters. Mm-hmm. Well, podcasters can't exist without listeners. Sure. And so it's all of an ecosystem, and we've got to be tuned into that fact so that we can create what we want to see in this industry, because we are going to be stronger, knowing what we need, knowing what we get to create, and knowing how we get to move together. So we have grown. The voices have increased in the podcast market. The listenership has definitely increased since 2017. And so those are things that we can't take it away. You have more conferences, which I love to see. You have, folks that we see daily that are doing really great work in this space, doing their own thing. And that's what I want to see. Again, if we do status quo things, this will be a status quo industry. And that's the last thing I want to see. Even if you never experienced Afros in audio or ever heard of Talib Jasir or rock with me, that's what I care about.
Now, Talib, this year is being marked as the final year of Afros Audio. Tell us more of why. Sure.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, personal journey first and foremost, and secondly, it's 7th year for me. It's a good as year as any to complete. I'm a creative. I've been on so many podcasts at this point. I've produced and created and written and done my own podcast just recently this year. I'm an author. I have films that are sitting in my spirit, right? That I've already written out the scripts. I want to get out there. I want to do what I do creatively. And the one thing about Afros and Audio that, again, because it's such a huge endeavor, even though I managed to eke out a book or 3 throughout the 7 years, and I've managed to produce 6 or 7 podcasts throughout this time. My life is consumed by Afros Audio Podcast Festival. And sometimes it can be a thankless and unappreciated position that I'm in. And for that, I can go and appreciate myself and create things that bring me joy.
Well, Talib, when you say that unappreciated, I am going to kind of push back a little bit because.
Well, that's not before you say anything, that's not a blanket term.
No.
I'm talking about industry here.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the industry may say that, but I, on my end, like I've told you so many times when we get into conversations on podcasts, and even when we're talking away from here, I always state the fact that you always made it a purpose to make sure that I represented myself. You had the urge to make sure that we were heard, right? Me personally, you came and said, hey, we need you. We have to have you here. You chased me down and I showed up, right? With that, I think I'm very thankful. Much of the industry may be thankful. Maybe they don't say it, but in my opinion, based on what I've seen and what I've gone around and noticed with people, they truly revere you. Maybe they haven't come out and said it. I have told you, I've given you your flowers. But with this respect, are we looking at something that you are trying to, like going into a merger, or maybe trying to get the Afros Audio rebranded to something else, or get somebody else to pick it up from there? Because to me, when I came to this one, I was like, I'm not seeing you closing down. I'm not seeing this thing coming to an end, because it's the one time we gather around as Black podcasters and truly appreciate the fact that we are there sitting as Black podcasters, and we know ourselves, and there's a like, quote unquote, it's the homecoming for us as podcasters. Throughout the year, we meet up here and we discuss things that affect us, right? So if you can speak on that, are you thinking about maybe having somebody else come in and pick it up from there, or having anybody in the works like that? Because that was a question I was posed to when I said this is seventh and last.
Yeah, no, there's no one else that will. There's other conferences that are occurring as we speak. Like there's, everyone is welcome to take on this behemoth on their own. Like, that's beautiful. I wanna see it, and I will support it. But so no one's taking over Afros and Audio or the conference. It will shift in different ways, but right now, I'm working on making the 7th year one of the best years that we've had so far. As I do every year, I'm focused on making this the best experience that we can have for this year. And where it goes from here is something that myself, my team, and what makes sense personally and as a business, we will do. I had a conversation yesterday, and with a grown ass man who started begin to cry because of the fact that this was the last year, in his thoughts. Like, I've never experienced anything like it. I've been to other conferences even recently, and I still haven't experienced anything like it. I know this, but it is what it is. At this point, the work has been done, and the support around it, financially, attendance wise, all of those things, has become something where I have personally, literally sacrificed myself, my emotions, my mental health, my finances, on and on and on, for my family. I look up sometimes and I think, wow, I've been so stressed out about this conference that I haven't reached out to this person or that person. I haven't thought about connecting with them because I'm consumed by Afros and Audio. And so while I love it, and while as I told my friend yesterday on the call, as he was relaying to me how much this conference meant to him. I wanted to do this forever, but it's not sustainable. And I don't know how many times I can say it's not sustainable out loud without help before it just has to go away, because, as I mentioned, it's not sustainable the way that it's going.
And, that makes sense. We understand that, and I do have a tiny thug tear in my eye right here because I am sad, and I know, and I think we all feel that way about that. We, admire what you have put together. It's beautiful. It's needed, and it has not been in vain. So, we respect your decision, and please share about how you want the legacy to be remembered.
The conference from the very beginning, and some of you might know Wise Grisette. He's with Revolt TV Network. I actually have an interview with him tomorrow. And Wise and I actually connected before the first conference in 2019. And as he sat in my man cave, my basement back in Jersey City, I told him that the biggest goal for me for Afros Audio was the day after. Not the event, the day after the event. Mm-hmm. How do we stay in community? How do we stay collaborating? How do we stay connected after the event ends? That's the legacy.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And I think you have succeeded with that, because I know even with our, group of podcast creatives that we, have our group chat, and we, and there has even been a spawn of a conference within the crew. And, shout out to Drippin' Black for his, conference that he put on his own, and people, came together and supported him, and other people are doing the same. And I think that's super dope. And if it hadn't been for Afros Audio, I don't, so that's legacy right there.
Yeah, the mission has been accomplished for sure. And so, like I said, while I would have loved to keep this going forever, it's just impossible. And that's it, and so I've said it enough times, and I haven't received that level of support yet. So I get to move on, with everything, and as it shifts into other things, it will be. We're not going anywhere. One thing is that when I commit to something, I'm committed, and so I'm committed to keeping folks together and bridging those gaps, and also having more conversations, because I'm a revolutionary. I'm a rebellious soul. And so I don't want to see us to continue to give ourselves away. I don't want us to continue to, it's modern day sharecropping, in my opinion. We're just creating for a couple of dollars. And we never, and it never pans out. It never equals out. It never gets you more. Okay. And there's time to shift that, and we have the power to shift that. And I'm going to be on that kind of conversation and on that type of time, because I don't want to see us go out like that, especially for an industry that is still actively in this moment being shaped by us.
Definitely.
Amen. In February, you usually do a series where you invite podcasters for conversations. And this has been part of one of those monthly sessions. And what I can say is, based on what you do around that time and the quality of podcasters that come in to speak to you regarding podcasting and Afros and audio, I noticed that I did learn a lot from people, and I've gotten into conversations with other people based on what you have done. Is this going to be part of something that you're still going to keep every February, where you call in podcasters for that month and have a conversation?
Absolutely. There's definitely going to be a fourth season that looks the same as ending the conference, resetting my nervous system, and then calling out for podcasters for February. But then, because that also, I don't know, I think there's also something wrong with me. I will be studied at some point. But, February is one a day. Like, I put out an episode every day of February, and I record them, I edit them, I market them, I cut up the clips, and I make sure they get dropped one every day in February.
Wow.
Something's clearly wrong with me, but the point is that it's stuff that it's the work I love to do. I'm a creative. I love connecting with people. I love to learn from people. And that's what I love to do. So February for sure is going to be that, but then it could evolve into a more frequent podcast, every week or every 2 weeks, because the conference is no longer something that I'm focused on, 9 months out of the year.
Okay. And so, personally, you kind of alluded that you want to go to family and you're going to do all this other stuff together. But after this final chapter, what does Talib do?
Live. continue to exist and do the things and be the person that everyone knows me to be in this moment. But there's also a lot of aspects of myself that grew up in this experience, and there's often times where people may not want to be with the fact that I talk about this growing up experiences that happen. It's not, the average conversation of a CEO or a founder, but I am possibility. You are my possibility. If I don't tell you what's up and how this road is and what this path looks like, then you might assume that it's easy and give up the first try. I've had to dig in and be 10 toes down year after year after year. There are conferences that face the same exact issues as I do, and they fold. It's taken a lot from me to keep this going, and although I'm very proud of that and I'm very appreciative, it was a personal journey. And so what I'll be doing is taking all of what I've learned, all of the ways that I've grown up, all the ways that this has built my own confidence in myself and understanding who I be. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to go to the next level. The next level of yourself always requires the next level of yourself. And that's where I'm going.
Okay.
And Denise has made a comment in the chat. Definitely take care of yourself and your mental health. Which ashe to that, ashe. Definitely.
Yeah.
For sure.
Now, I think we can talk about community. Jen, what do you think? The community of Afros and audio that you have nurtured. What would you like to tell them?
Continue on. One of the things that I wanted for this conference, if it had the longevity, was that it was something that I could truly leave to the community in a way that co-opt, in a way that there was group economics and support systems and resources. And I think that that's been something not necessarily structured or framed out, but I think, just like you said, to you all's collective, where you support each other, and you show up for each other, and you create content together. That's what the community is. Whether it's a group of folks, we ain't gonna all rock with each other, right? You find your people, and you do it with your people, and you leave the other people out of it because they're gonna find their people. We are not a like-minded folk, and we all come with our own selves to this space, and that's what you want: autonomy while being a collective. And so if I can bring what I bring to it, and you bring what you bring to it, and it's different, like I don't need the same thing I do, then what's the point of that? Let's all bring it together, and so that's what this community has looked like for me, and I just wanted to continue on. I wanted to see it grow and be out of my hands and really see what the community wanted, because I'm a I come from a public policy, social justice background. And for me, it's about not deciding what a community wants and saying, I know what you want, I'm going to give it to you, but actually saying, what do you want? Because a community and a people will tell you exactly what they want and need. And you don't have to play that guessing game. So that's what I want. I just want the community to respect each other and support, show up, comment, review, do the things, show up to live shows, create summits and conferences together. Like, do your thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, please know that your work has not been in vain and that, you definitely have made a mark in the industry, for sure.
For sure. Thank you.
And the culture.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
State of the podcasting nation. That's usually the time where we all gather and talk about stuff. I wonder how this one's going to be. I'm sure there'll be tears.
We'll see. This year it's on Sunday. I'm looking forward to doing. This is a celebration, in a lot of ways, and so I'm looking forward to celebrating with folks, and knowing that we all are going to leave that space and go even further and grow even bigger, and especially now that we all know each other, we can support each other in those endeavors, and so There's definitely sadness, and I've definitely experienced my own grief from it. But I've also exhausted a lot of emotions, as you can imagine. You've been in one of those relationships where you've exhausted all of your emotions. So by the time they're like, I'm good, you're like, I'm good too. Thank you very much. I'm there with it. I love this. I love the community. I love the conference. I love it so much. I'm so proud of it. But I'm ready.
I think we can't, after that statement, I think that's a mic drop right there, right, Jen?
Yeah, I mean,
But before you go, tell us about the conference, when it's going to be, and how people can reach out to you, not for the conference, but after the conference, because you're still going to be out there.
Or if they want to support and, write a check or something,
That would be super nice. Yeah, listen. I get a big check. Y'all have Afros and Audio forever. But anyway, so we'll be around. Like I said, we're going to move from this. I'm already in agreements and conversations with different brands that we've worked with in the past. And focusing on doing some micro networking events, both virtually and in person, regional, local, globally. We've made a lot of connections over the years. Afros and Audio is now something a brand that people know and understand and respect. And we want to take that. I want to take that access. And it's always been my goal, is that the community, the people that are part of it, if there's a way in which you can access Afros and Audio, that's what it's here for. We're not gatekeepers. You've never experienced gatekeeping Afros and Audio, and you'll never experience it from me either. And so I just want to see us all just continue to move forward, and we're going to do a lot of great things together in the future. You stay on Afros and Audio on Instagram. The website will shift, from what it looks like now, from multi-day to what it's going to be. We have school programs. We're working in East Harlem this year, PS 38, doing a year-long summer program. I do nonprofits for podcasts. So we'll continue to be out here. I'm continuing to create. Grumpy Wisdom is my podcast, that my personal project, and I encourage people to listen to it because you'll understand a lot more of my why for the community and who I am as a person. And love it, hate it, like it, don't like it. I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna do me, and it is what it is. So check out Grumpy Wisdom if you want to know more about me for real, and talk to me if you want to know more about me for real.
Yes, please check out Talib's content. He has books. He's an author. Very cultured, creative. So we definitely will share.
Like all of y'all. I've been inspired since 2019. Just watching you all just be who you are. It takes courage from all of us to get on this mic. It takes courage to record and to publish something and put out in the world. You don't know who's listening. You don't know where they're listening from. It's touching people you've never even seen in the flesh. That's inspiring, man.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Sambaza?
So, Jen, I think my cup is full. I'm gonna wait for the Afros and Audio. This year, I would have really wanted to speak, but I think I had to take a step back because there was a lot of things going on in the background, personally. So with that, I think I do appreciate your sentiments of saying, hey, I got you something to do. We're still working on it. However, I'll be there. We'll hang out this time, and I think I'll be seeing you in maybe conferences, and hopefully you'll invite me to your podcast, and we'll have these conversations more and more, or whatever you're doing virtually. I would appreciate to be part of it. And
absolutely.
If you need me, hey, I'm here. Remember, I'm still, I was the ambassador. I have pictures all the way in Kenya with Afros and Audio.
Yes, sir. Yes,
myself.
sir.
That's how much I have loved Afros and Audio, if I may say.
Thank you.
And
it means a lot to hear that. It really does.
So you guys had a great presentation. You were a presenter on a great panel, which I feel like was historic to actually see that many people from a different country in Africa on the same stage. Like, that has to be like something, in the record books for sure.
And we appreciate for being given that chance to speak and actually being highlighted. And but with that, Talib, I want to thank you, your people, for what they've done all through. I mean, 7 years is not a small time thing, especially when you said you had to go from where you started and then the pandemic, and then have to do it online, and then come and do it on site. It's truly amazing about what you've done. One of the best things that I think podcasting has ever been able to be put out there in terms of a festival. There are other festivals, but none can match this particular one. So with that, thank you. And you have a wonderful team behind you. And Jen, I think this is the time we say good night, and it's time to take it home.
Yes, and so we do appreciate you guys joining us this evening for this great conversation. We hope that our conversation has inspired or enlightened you. And if you found today's episode meaningful, we ask that you consider sharing it with friends and family. Our collective awareness and advocacy play a crucial role in creating positive change. We invite you to stay tuned for more engaging content, and we look forward to continuing these important conversations in the future. So with that, thank you to Talib again, and everyone who tapped in on the various platforms, and everyone else, take care. At this time, we're going to go ahead and conclude the episode. We greatly appreciate you listening. We invite you to follow us on social media. On Instagram, it is Woke by Accident Podcast. On Twitter, it is Woke by. On Facebook, it is Woke by Accident Podcast. We also have the new website up, www.wokebyaccident.net. Please check us out, and also follow us on all of your favorite streaming platforms, and please leave a review and share feedback. You can also reach out by Gmail, wokebyaccident@gmail.com. And every time you listen, we appreciate it so much. Thank you for listening, and take care.